Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Razrude and I am here today to gush a lot about my first love, the original PlayStation. The PlayStation 1 as it's called. Here you see the original design for the PlayStation, the beast, and I absolutely love this console and it's great to get this opportunity to talk to you about it right now because I very much love this console. One thing I have to point out, this is absolutely amazing. Have a look at this controller. For 4 console generations at this point, we've had pretty much the same design. There's not a lot of difference between these two. And then there's also the 5th one coming. You don't have to change or fix what is not broken. PlayStation has always had a really good controller, and that is absolutely amazing to be able to do that. So the original PlayStation 1, let's talk love. If I'm going to summarize my childhood with only 3 PlayStation 1 games, that would be these 3. So first up, Mega Man X4. Sorry, I don't have a cover for this one, just the disc. And this has the honor of being the first Mega Man X game, the first Mega Man game overall that I played all the way through as Zero, of course. This being the first game where Zero is unlocked from the start, the character you play all throughout, and he's amazing. I really love him. The style, the feelings of the controllers, the sliding, the dashing, the attacks, everything just feels really good in Mega Man X4. Tekken 3, not 2, definitely not 1, but Tekken 3, absolutely amazing. Super tight controls, amazing character roster, all the characters are very varied. My favorite definitely being Hwoarang. I, to this day, play Tekken 3 with friends I have over. It's a really easy game to just plug in and play. You could have 16 people over and you can play Tekken 3, taking turns, passing the controllers around. It's an amazing game for that. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in Swedish. What can I say about Harry Potter? It's an adventure game. I have not played it since I was a kid, but I very much loved the game growing up. Back then it was absolutely amazing, a really good adventure game. I also remember, of course, playing the follow-up, the second one, the Chamber of Secrets, where Harry actually got voiced. It was not voiced in the first one. I remember my first ever horror experience, which would have been Dino Crisis. Essentially Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs. I only played the demo for it. The demo was absolutely amazing, super creepy atmosphere, really intense back then at least. That is in my backlog, so I'm going to get to that. I also remember another fighting game which I played a lot, and for the longest time I did not know the name of this game. I only played the demo. You start out as any fighting game, pick your dudes and start fighting, and then all of a sudden your character is able to transform into a huge hulking beast. You beat the crap out of the other player as this huge beast. That game is Bloody Roar 2. Absolutely stunning game. It was really fun and I am super thrilled to finally have it in my collection. Another game I played a lot growing up, sort of also horror themed, a platformer, and it is 40 Winks. It was a really fun game, but essentially your main goal is to collect these 40 winks. Winks give you good dreams while you sleep. Each and every one of them are being transformed into hoodwinks, which is what gives you nightmares. And it is a really cool game. It is a fantastic concept. And for some controversy, now, the first really violent game I played was Grand Theft Auto. A really violent game. My parents did not allow me to play this at home. We of course did the only sensible thing to do. We played it at our friends' houses. Now, thing about the original PlayStation 1 is that it has aged a lot, and in some cases very poorly, and it is really sad because it is hard to go back to these games and play them today due to the graphics, the controls, everything is a bit stiff and all that. So there are ways for you to go back and play a lot of these games today, but in a much better way. I have a selection right here of remakes of original PlayStation 1 games, which I think work absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to start with the first one here, the original Resident Evil for the Nintendo DS. Now this is pretty much the original Resident Evil, but with the aim assist, I suppose. On the go, you can bring it with you, and that gives it a huge advantage to me. So the controls in this game are just as poor as they were on the PlayStation original. It is stiff, it is hard to control, and most of what makes this game tense comes from controls being poor. It is a matter of taste. I played through it, I really enjoyed it. I played the jail scenario, lost an item, couldn't save Chris, and so I just had to take off without him, and that is where I ended the thing. I'm done. I will not go back to this game in a long while, especially since the game has been remade even more. So you can play it on the PlayStation 4 if you want to, or the GameCube. Play that remake. It is even a bit scary, I've heard. Another one that got remade was, of course, Resident Evil 2. And this is how you remake an old PlayStation 1 game. This is entirely remade. Third-person camera. It is absolutely gorgeous, this game. It controls absolutely amazing. No stiff time controls, no nothing like that. The first time I played it, it was really scary. Really scary. I was afraid that I might not be able to get through the game, but I stuck with it and I played through the game. I'm going on my third lap right now, so it is a game which I absolutely adore. It is absolutely beautiful, and it makes you at least as tense as the original did back then, but now with much more beautiful graphics and much better controls. It is an absolute masterpiece. If you have a PlayStation 4, if you're 18 plus, go get this game. You absolutely have to play it. So, talking about my childhood games, I did not mention something which many people are right now scratching their head at. That is Crash Bandicoot, of course. That is because I don't actually own the first three Crash Bandicoot games on the original PlayStation anymore. But then came this remake collection. So Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy for the PlayStation 4. It is also available for the Switch, but at the time of buying this, I did not own a Switch, so I went for this one because I didn't know if I was going to get the Switch at all. But maybe today I would have gone for the Switch version instead. But here, just as beautiful as you remember Crash Bandicoot being way back when, this is Crash Bandicoot actually looking that beautiful. It controls pretty much like the original, I think. I very much love this. This was really good. First two games are really difficult, at least to me. Third one, it felt like just going back. It felt like I had never taken a break from the game or anything. Just go straight back to the game. Really good. So, talking about Switch ports and Crash Bandicoot, CTR, Crash Team Racing, really good game, absolutely amazing, packed full of content. There are so many characters and so many stages and carts and everything. I think it's, of course, it is a remake of the original Crash Team Racing, but I also understand that they've added in things from the later ones as well. So there is so much to unlock. And you do that by racing, gaining coins, using those coins in the pit stop shop. You pay your coins to get your character. And this was innocent enough up until the point where they actually offered to sell you coins, which they did not originally do. So that is a bash against this game. It is packed full of microtransactions, which makes it really sad to say that I recommend this game. I really like this game. It was really good. And so for another remake of another PlayStation 1 classic mascot that is also for the Switch, and it is Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy. There are two things I have against this game. And that is that out of the cartridge, straight into the console, no downloads. The first sort of starting area, and that is it. When they don't support this, and they don't support the Switch anymore, this is going to be absolute garbage. There is not going to be a single reason to buy this. But as is right now, all 3 games, 1 cart, it is really beautiful. It is a very beautiful game. I really love it. My son really loves it. It's really fun to play. So I very much recommend it. So as a game collector, what reasons are there to go to the PlayStation 1? Now, I of course knew when I started collecting, the PlayStation 1 was the first console that I went out and rebought when I started collecting again back in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. I was choosing between the PlayStation 1 and the NES. And so the PlayStation 1, I also bought 1 game for it. So the first game that I picked up in my grown-up life was Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. This is the main reason to own a PlayStation 1. This game is absolutely beautiful. If you like the other games in the series, if you like those games, this game is where it all started. There are some allusions to the NES games, but still, this is where you can jump on. This is a good point of entry. I also, not long after that, I also picked up Ape Escape, one of the coolest games for the system because it requires the analog controls. The PlayStation 1 did not originally come with the analog sticks. It actually came with just the arrows. So the analog sticks were a later addition, and this game absolutely required it. You can play it without the analog sticks. So it is a really good one. Well, I recommend you to go watch Cadicarus's review of this game because that is a really good review. So 2 games I did not have growing up. Something I picked up as I went into collecting. So just a few years ago, I received as a gift from a friend a collector's edition of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. An absolute must-have for the PlayStation 1. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is probably the best game for the entire system. You should have this if you like Castlevania games, if you like platformers, if you like the Metroidvania genre. This is where it started, sort of, and it is an absolute masterpiece. And the glorious voice acting, have you heard it? Go search for hilarious Castlevania voice acting or something. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, speaking of voice acting, amazing voice acting for real. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. The voice acting in this game is why you should play it. It is pretty stiff. The controls are really hard to get into. The game mechanics, the fighting, the whatnot, it is very stiff. It is really hard to get into. But the voice acting in the Legacy of Kain games is absolutely top notch. It is gorgeous. So really good, really amazing game. And I also have a really cool cover for it. So if you spin it around, it is a 3D background, so you can see the little tower here twisting as Raziel travels between the living realm and the ethereal realm. As a collector, am I going to continue collecting for the PlayStation 1 or what is going on? Well, the answer is pretty short. Yes, I am still collecting for the PlayStation 1. Quake 2, I picked this up just a few weeks ago. PlayStation 1, I picked up about a couple of months ago. So I have new goals for the PlayStation 1. I want to collect the shooters, point and click adventure games, the strategy games and all of that stuff. So there's a reason to keep exploring the PlayStation 1. There is so much that I have not discovered so far. And as I showed you, I have Mega Man X4, but I don't have the single best Mega Man in the series. Mega Man 8. Argue with me in the comments down below. Subscribe if you think that is the best opinion you've ever heard, and like this video. Thank you and goodbye.